Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Then you're going to see the top tray here. You're going to see a box and it has a shadow imprint of where everybody would go. And at the bottom, we're going to see the cards, etc. we're going to have. So we'll take a look at these cards and then we'll go through the miniatures. So we're going to have some of these tokens you'll be using in the game. You got the Master Plan ones for Kingpin. You got some KO tokens. Nice cardboard. Look very nice. I think they're very showy. Then we'll just kind of jump into what these cards are. So then we'll just jump into these cards, and we'll take a look at the Nick Fury cards. He's going to have some movement and some heroic actions. Lots of movement here for Nick Fury. A lot of heroic actions, and then his wild cards. For his power cards, a hero of your choice immediately performs 2 movement. That can be very helpful. Hero of your choice gets 2 attack, and the hero of your choice gets 2 heroic actions. It can be very helpful to help other people in the game. We'll look at Okoye. Here, you can see her special to the beginning of your next turn. Now the hero's in your location takes damage, you take the damage instead. So you're going to be a tank here for you. For the top card of your deck, and you put it at the bottom of your deck, so you can kind of move things around. And then 2 fists in an adjacent location as you're going through. Very attack heavy, you're going to see here with Okoye for sure. Then we have War Machine that you're going to see here. So lots of moving around, of course, right? Because he's flying through the air. And attacks that you can see here, pretty big. And then the wilds, of course. He can attack in an adjacent location with his beam weapon. 2 attacks in an adjacent location. And then 2 attacks and then move. So you can't move and then attack, but it's 2 attacks and then move away from wherever you're at. So War Machine can be good for movement and those attacks in adjacent locations that you're looking for. Next, we're going to have Vision that you'll see here. So movement and some heroic actions. You can see a definite here of heroic actions and attack. A lot of heroic actions that he'll be able to do if you're looking for something like that. I do want to say I do like the color scheme. That teal looks pretty cool with that pinkish look on there. So Solar Gem Blast, add all punches at the bottom of the last 4 hero cards of storyline. So not just the last 2 like normal. Deal that much damage to a single enemy, but he gives you nothing here. So you want to play him at the right time if somebody's putting a lot of those fists out. Gain a wild token for each location with no empty slots. And you cannot take any damage in the beginning of your next turn. That's great, especially if you're low on health there. So Vision can be very powerful as a defensive player there also. You're going to have some Venom cards. Here you have him as a hero, moving around and attacking. Double attack there. And then his wilds, of course. You can see the symbiote attack of the movement and the attack. You may draw 3 cards if you have 3 in your hand, so a way to re-heal as you're going through. You can move to any location and punch there. So moving around the board, very helpful with Venom, especially if you're going after the final boss. They can move right to his location. Now, a very popular character is going to be Squirrel Girl. You can see she can move around and do some attacks. Lots of attacks here with her. Double attack. It's nice. Not so many heroic actions as you're going to see with her. So for her power, reveal the top card of the Master Plan deck and you put it at the bottom. There's a couple characters do that, but it's going to be very helpful. Deal 1 damage to a single enemy in every location. So if you have a lot of bad guys out, this is the time to hit it. Number of your special effects cards in the storyline is greater than the villain's current health. Heroes win the game. So you have a win condition on her. It's very different. You don't see that a whole lot in the game, and that is Squirrel Girl. Next, you're going to see we have Spider-Woman. She's going to be able to move around quite a bit. I do like that shot of her right there. It's very cool. And some attacks that you're going to see there. Not a lot of heroic actions at all. You can super resistance. You cannot take any damage at the beginning of your next turn. We've seen that before. Choose. You can either 2 punches or delay the next villain turn by 1 card. And if you get into the nitty-gritty of the game, that might be very important to kind of hold that back a little bit. And then choose 2 or delay the villain again. So Spider-Woman, that Poison Blast can be quite powerful that you'll see there. And then we have Spider-Man 2099. So you can see a lot of heroic actions here, some double punches, etc. as you're going through with him. Not an overly powerful character if you ask me, but the claws gives you 2 attacks against a single enemy. Damage of his turn can't be reduced, so nobody can block that. It's kind of nice. You can't take any damage at the beginning of your next turn, and then a heroic action in any location. So you can you don't have to move there. It's just at any location. That'd be very, very helpful if you're trying to accomplish like a card or a threat. Next, we have She-Hulk that will be in here. You can see a move and a punch. Lots of attack here. Lots of attack with She-Hulk. Was that any kind of surprise? But also you get a good blend of heroic actions that you're going to see. And then Transformation. Attack plus another attack for each transformation card in the storyline. So you definitely want to get these out so the attacks can be a little bit stronger. And you're going to get 4 of those in her deck. Next, we're going to see Shang-Chi, which is a new movie coming out, not out quite yet in our time. So here's some more action, some good mix of things to do with him. As you can see, a little bit of everything. He's going to be a master of martial artist, double each attack on the previous hero card in the storyline. So somebody played a lot of attack, maybe like the She-Hulk before it. You can definitely add to that with the master of martial arts. So you have 3 of those in your deck. Now, one of the hot topics as of right now is Scarlet Witch, and here she is in all her glory. Some really good movement around, some strong attacks. You can see here movement and attack, and some heroic actions thrown in. Now, the Psionic Energy Blast gives you 3 attack against a single enemy in an adjacent location. So it's nice. You don't have to move there. It can be next to you. Chaos Magic. Another hero can swap 1 card from their hand with one of their face-up cards in the storyline. Love this, especially to get your double wilds or some really powerful cards back. And Psionic Energy Field. Cancel the first damage each hero would suffer from the effects of the next plan card. So something particularly nasty is coming out, or you can plan for it in some way. You can definitely block that. So Scarlet Witch is a very good character. Next, we're going to have Quicksilver. You can see here some heroic actions. Nice to see something a little bit different than just the attacks. Some good movements, as he is really, really fast, right? Run to the rescue. You can rescue 1 bystander at each location you enter. So if you're moving around the board a lot, and somebody gave you some movements, you can definitely save a lot of those. Same thing here with the bandits, and you can move other heroes with you this turn. So if you're moving with people, you can kind of pick them up and take them with you, which is kind of a cool effect. And you don't see that too often inside of the game. Next, we're going to have the Punisher, which is one of my favorite guys here. So you can see a lot of heroic actions and attack, but just single attacks with some movement. His double attack is going to be the punches, of course. Precision attack. So 4 attacks against a single enemy. Damage you deal this turn cannot be canceled. Great against a final boss, right? 2 attack in a location and 1 in both adjacent ones because he's got this gun. Very, very cool. Special off turn, you can move to any location and 2 punches there. Once again, very good against a final boss. Anytime you can move anywhere on the board, it's very helpful. You don't have to kind of move around. This guy here, Doctor Strange. Cloak of Levitation. So either punch or in an adjacent location, or you can move. So you have some options there. As long as this card's face up, the top card of the Master Plan deck is revealed. And you may search the Master Plan deck, remove 1 card from the game, then reshuffle the deck. So you can get rid of a particularly nasty card if you want. You have Dimensional Portal. You can just move to any location on his wild. That's pretty happy. You can do that, especially when you need to. And you may take any Master Plan card from the storyline and reshuffle it into the Master Plan deck. So you can kind of get rid of it. Or maybe for something that's kind of weak, you might want to get it back in if at all possible. Now, one of the craziest additions would be Howard Deductomy. Neutron Disintegrator. Deal damage to a villain or henchman in your location until they have 1 health. You can't use any punch. That's kind of nice to be able to do that. It's very, very, very powerful. Deal 2 punch in any location, so you don't have to be there. It's because it's got a big freaking gun, right? And you can see, I love that Kung Fu one. It's pretty funny. Deal 2 attacks to any enemy in your location. It's pretty nice, right? Deal 2 to each enemy in your location, not any. So that's pretty powerful there. And I actually found him to be a pretty strong character, if you ask me. Next, we're going to have Miss Marvel. She's going to come in. Elongation. Your attacks may target enemies in adjacent locations. That's very nice. If you can't move, but you want to attack somebody next to you. Count all action symbols as wild this turn. Wow, that's pretty good. Swap any number of cards from your hand with any of your face-up cards in storyline. So once you play something strong, you can get it back using the Morphogenic. So that can be pretty powerful as you go through. A lot of attacks and heroic actions in her. So kind of a good mix there if you want somebody who is a little bit of everything. We're going to have Daredevil here. A couple wilds, some heroic actions. There's a heroic action and an attack, which is kind of cool. Gain either heroic action or attack for each location you enter. So if you can move around a lot, you can pick up some extra things. Gain a movement token. For each bandit you defeat this turn, you get an attack, which is not too bad. And gain a movement token for each bystander you rescue this turn. So Daredevil can be a pretty balanced character if you ask me. Here is Nova. It's one that we haven't seen in the MCU yet, but very popular in the comics. You can see some movement, heroic actions, a lot of heroic actions here with him. You get 2 heroic actions in an adjacent location. I am the Hope. And you have 3 of those in your deck. So pretty heroic player that you're going to have there. And you kind of know what you're getting into with him, but nice to be able to go to those adjacent locations. Ooh, I like the back of these cards quite a bit. This is going to be Ghost Rider. You can see movement and attacks. Wow, that is just really cool with the flames. I just like the look of this character quite a bit. Mystical Chain, deal 2 attack to each bandit in your location. So if you need somebody to get rid of those bandits, deal 3 attack in a single to a single enemy in your location. Very good against the final boss. And then you have an attack and a heroic, then draw a card. So it heals you up as you go, which I like quite a bit. Ghost Rider is a fun character to play at, if you ask me. Now, the Falcon is a pretty hot character right now. He's just been turned into Captain America. Lots of movement, as you expect from somebody who is a flying capable person. So if you want somebody who can move around the board, Falcon could be it. And he gets to move to any location and then attack there. It's pretty cool. He just kind of swoops down and attack. And it's the airstrike. You're going to get 3 of those in his deck. So very simple, pretty easy to play, and a lot of movement around the board. If you want somebody who can kind of go where you need him to go, then Falcon would be it. Elektra, the ninja assassin, right? So she can do some movement, kind of attacking. She's going to be another attack heavy, that double attack that you can see there. 1 heroic action, not too much on that, so you want to be careful when you're choosing her. You have a good round of characters. 2 extra attack, or you cannot take any damage at the beginning of your next turn, so you're about to die, you can kind of save her there. And her side deal to both attack in both adjacent locations. So very attack heavy. Be careful when choosing her that you don't have too many attacks and not enough heroic actions, because she's not going to give you but that 1 heroic action. Here is Drax, right? So we like Drax. Moving around, some punches, as you're going to see. Not a lot of icons in the game, so you see him repeat a double, but you'll notice there isn't a heroic action in here at all. So a little bit different than some. You have to use your wild cards for that. Revenge. Move to the next clockwise location with any enemies and deal an attack there. You're going to have 2 or 3 of those, rather, sorry. Just moving to the location that's adjacent. So you can move around a little bit with those special cards, but no heroic actions in that set. Now we have Blade, the vampire assassin, right? He can move around, double attack, so a lot of attack. Here comes some heroic actions. So finally we got a character with some heroic actions that you'll see in there. He can defeat all the bandits in your location, that bloodbath. That's pretty handy, especially when you complete a mission. Double each attack you are against a single enemy, so that's really good against the final boss, right? And then you can draw a card. Is vampiric healing. Very nice to get an extra card in your hand, and very nice to be able to heal on the go like that. So if you need to beat those bandits, Blade is a top choice for that. Next we have Black Cat, as you'll see. Some movement around, double attack, some heroic actions. So once again, we're getting some. Gain any combination of the 2. So you get to pick which of these tokens that you want. That's her cat instincts, and you'll see cat calls. When the next master plan is revealed, you may put it on the bottom and draw another one. So if you get something you don't like, she can kind of put that back up. Now you have cat luck. When you next master plan card reveal, you may put it to the bottom and draw another one instead. So that's going to be very, very helpful as you go through. She can kind of get rid of what you don't need at that point and help you from cards that are very, very damaging at the wrong time. And America Chavez that you can see here. She can move around. There's a heroic action that we've been missing in some of these sets, but a lot of attacks, double heroic action, which is great to see from her. And then you cannot take any damage at the beginning of your next turn, so she has some invincibility and vulnerability for a turn. A double token of wilds, that's nice, right? And double punch. So I think this right here is probably her star portal. Will be the shining star on her, those double wilds, because wilds are always very helpful to do whatever you want. Now we have Nebula, one of my daughter's favorites that you'll have here. She can move around, got heroic action with some of these have been missing. Double attacks, Gazor. You can see here, not so many heroic actions, but there's some in the deck. You may draw cards. You have 3 in your hand, so great healing power there. Every hero can swap a card from their hand with one of their cards in the storyline. You get the cards back that you want. And then you attack in both adjacent locations, which is always, always helpful. So more attack heavy, but does have some of those super powerful cards in there, and I like the healing ability. Next, we have Moon Knight that will show up. Can move around, some attacks, but we're going to have some heroic actions in here. They're going to show back up in this set right here. So this might be somebody, if you have attack heavy, to add in him. Shuffle your hand and your deck together, then draw 3 cards. So you get a new hand if you don't like what you're getting. Wild for each of your special effect cards in storyline. So you want to play this one last, because once you have your specials in, you get wilds for that. Until the beginning of your next turn, if you would take a damage, ignore it, move to any location. So you can move around the board pretty easily. So Moon Knight is all about timing those cards out and getting them up. But there are some good movement cards in there. You can move to any location you want, which is super helpful, especially at the end of the game. Next, we have Mockingbird, another female character, which is great. And you can see some attacks here, but there also will be some heroic actions and a double heroic, which some of them have been lacking. This one allows you to defeat 2 bandits in your location. Not as good as Blade, allow you to defeat all, but still not too shabby. The next master plan cannot add any of the extra people to the location, which is great. And you have 2 of those in the deck. So very situational, something that you might like if the right cards come up. Defeating these are good, but not as good as Blade. So very helpful character, but does give you a nice mix of heroic actions and attack. Next, we have Mantis, another great character, and I love her in the movies, so hilarious. The actress just really pulls it off, but just a good mix of icons here between heroics, and you have the double attack, the double heroics, which is nice, and the wilds. She can cancel any BAM on the next plan card, which is great if you play at the right time. This turn you may use in actions if you're in a different location, which is great. And another hero draws 2. She's going to be able to heal other people, which can be super handy as a character. And what a great support character that she is, but a good general use also. Luke Cage, loved his series on Netflix. The man of the skin that can't be damaged, right? So a lot of attack. I would expect him to be very attack heavy, but also some heroic actions, but he lacks a double heroic, okay? We're not going to see that in his deck. Superhuman Strength. This turn you may have as many extra punches as the number of cards in your hand. So if you can heal up, maybe packing with Mantis, you can definitely get more of those in your hand. Draw a card. You cannot take any damage at the beginning of your next turn. And then draw 2 cards. So these are ones you'll want to play before you jump into this one and get those extra attack points. So Luke Cage can be very damaging if you can time out the cards properly. Next, we have Jessica Jones. We're clearing up the Netflix series of these. I'm sorry, I don't read the comics, but you're going to have a mix of attacks here. Double heroic, which is great to have. So pretty good general use. You may draw a card to the F3, so we've seen this power over and over again that you're healing. Reveal the top card of the Master Plan. Gain wilds equal to the movement on it. Reveal the top card of the Master Plan deck and move to any location. So you get to see what's coming up next and then move. Jessica Jones is a pretty good character. So here's Iron Fist. As you can see, jumping in, you can deal 2 damage, split as you like in your adjacent location. Super, super helpful because you're not just stuck in adjacent or where you're at, but you can split them up. And you're going to get 3 of those. Otherwise, a pretty good mix. You're going to see some interesting cards that give you heroic and an attack on each. I find them kind of tricky sometimes, but useful. And if you know how to use them, can be very helpful in the deck. And then we're going to have Hawkeye that we're going to see here to round out the Avengers. A lot of people like Hawkeye. You can see some attacks, but a pretty good mix. A general use character, if you ask me. He can deal attacks in the opposite location of where you're at, so across the board from me is pretty cool. Beginning of your next turn, any damage you take can be redirected to enemies in your location. And this turn, you can treat each symbol on the storyline as attacks. So if you really need attack heavy, Hawkeye can turn some of those for you and be a very neat character that you can utilize.